Hey, and welcome to the penultimate level of Doom 64's Lost Levels. This is Thy Glory. In order to get out of this opening area, we have to kill all the arachnotrons on the floor here. There's a handful of them dotted around, but because we're pistol starting, we don't have the advantage of all the weapons we've collected previously. Oh, hello. Wow, okay. Did not expect that one to be there when I turned around. That was a moment. We can kill the imps up top here as well. We don't have to though, because we'll be killing those as we move through the level anyway. It just makes this area a lot safer for me to run around in. There is an armor bonus in the middle of this area, so before we head off down this canal, it is a good idea to kill all the enemies as you're making your way through this level. There's a lot of areas in this level where you'll be backtracking and walking into areas where there's a bunch of enemies that could potentially cause harm to you. It's a good idea to get rid of them as quickly as possible. There's a blue door there, but we can't actually do anything with that right now. We need to get the blue key, which it will be seen later on in this level. We're now up in the cages where those imps were earlier on. You can see the yellow key just through that window there. We can't get to it right now, but the switch here will take us closer to it. We can't go inside there yet. That is the red door. Once we drop down here, a bunch of cacodemons will spawn into this area. And some arachnotrons will be waiting for us under here. I did not realise there was one behind me there. I got savaged there. That could have been very nasty if I hadn't moved quickly. Already in this level there's a lot of variation in the architecture being used, and I really appreciate that. This level definitely feels like a big deal just because there's a lot of visually different rooms and different kind of lighting being used across the different rooms. You can see that when you look through the window there. Lots of different lighting being used, and there's a lot of elevation in this one as well. Enemies looking down on you from above and making you feel powerless as you're wandering through this level. There's a cacodemon over there. There should be some health around here that I've not picked up yet, so we'll be looking for that quickly. As we make our way around this area, I'm just glancing around looking for any health I've not picked up. There is some imps still up there, so just going to see if I can hit those. We'll be heading up here anyway in a second. There's a yellow door there. Hit this blinking wall panel there. It opens up its secret room here with a supercharge. If, like me, you're not doing well for health, it's a good way to top up. We come to this room here. There's a rocket launcher in the center there. There's no way I'm going to grab that right now though, because as with most things in Doom 64, it's very clearly a trap and intended to really just punish the player for even thinking about going near it. But we do actually need to pick it up in order to progress, so going to wait a second here, because when you do pick it up, the walls drop down around the room and a bunch of cacodemons will be heading in our direction. There's also a mancubus and two arachnotrons on the far wall behind, just in front of us there. You'll see them to the left in a second. Lost Souls are such a pain when you've got a rocket launcher out. You can see there, the mancubus took a shot at me. Wasn't able to hit me, but it did make an attempt. Excellent. There is a secret in this room. If we hit this panel over there. First things first though, I'm going to get rid of this mancubus. It's worth doing this while I remember it because I don't want to forget about that mancubus. So in order to activate this secret, you got to lower that panel, shoot that switch, and then you get the blue armor as well as some energy cells. All very useful. We'll be picking a plasma rifle up later on in this level. Because we killed those imps earlier, and because we killed the Caco Demon, the only thing we really have to worry about here is this Hell Knight. Again, that's the advantage of taking out the enemies when you see them through the windows in this level. Make sure we picked up all the ammo and all the goodies. Make sure... I think there's another secret around here somewhere. Just trying to remember where it is. We need to be heading over there. Let's see if I can activate that early. We can't. You need to activate the switch there in order to lower the panels with the items on them. We'll head into this door here. Nothing too surprising inside of here. You don't really expect to see any new enemies at this point in the Doom campaign, and definitely not going to be seeing any here. There is a secret behind this wall here, with this Hell Knight here guarding the full map and some ammo. Now, I never really make use of the auto map in this game, unless I absolutely have to. Hitting that switch raises up the platform to where the mancubus was. It also brings a bunch of imps into play. The thing about this level is that it's kind of like an onion. There's different layers and you've got to sort of figure out what each switch does to get you to the next part. And I can definitely tell that this is a level that would probably confuse and annoy a number of players, and I wouldn't blame them. As you can see, in order to grab that secret there, which is marked on the Berserk pack, you've actually got to hit all the switches to get around here. We will be grabbing that backpack very soon. But right now, that switch doesn't actually help us out. It's actually around here. Interestingly, the ammo backpack is not marked as a secret. I'm definitely not going to say no to ammo at this point. When we hit this switch, a bunch of Caco demons are going to spawn in the middle here. I think there's also a pain elemental floating around somewhere in here, if I'm not mistaken. No, there's no pain elemental here, but there are a lot of them on this level. You might have noticed as well, we haven't actually grabbed any of the keys so far. We actually need to go and pick up the yellow key card, which is in this room here. So that is the first key card we've picked up. Be careful for the missiles launching there. Don't do what I just did and walk into them both, because that would be very silly on your part. Also be careful, because as you head back through the level here, a bunch of missiles will shoot at you at various points. Let's get rid of these demons here. Well, pinkies. So as we enter the yellow door here, we've got to take out the Hell Knight on the other side. It's important when you're going through these levels to make sure you're eliminating the enemies as you're passing through. A lot of these enemies will tail you through the level and they will cause problems because you will have to backtrack. This is one of those levels where unfortunately backtracking is part of its DNA. We can't go in the blue door yet. This room is a particularly nasty one, and also a bit of a confusing puzzle for first timers, I'd argue, because it definitely caught me out when we were coming through here the first time. So basically, that blue key there, we actually have to lower the pillar that it's resting on so that we can actually drop down and grab it. Now in order to do that, we've got to hit certain switches, but the switches are not super obvious to us right now. Before we worry about all that, I am going to head into this room and take care of these enemies. The Mancubus, though, in particular, is very nasty. If you're not expecting to see a Mancubus around that corner, it could very easily catch you out. You can also see I'm not doing too hot in the ammo department. This level does have a bit of an ammo crunch towards the centre. We're getting plenty of cell ammo, but we don't have anything to use it with right now. Once you kill all the enemies, that pillar drops down. We will be needing to use that teleporter very imminently, but right now it's all about hitting those switches. When you hit that switch there, that allows you to drop down into the lava, blood, whatever this is. I am going to be making use of the Berserk pack here. I haven't been making use of this in Doom 64 as much as I would in other Doom games. I don't even want to describe what's going on there. You guys can figure that one out for yourselves, but all I'm going to say is this is very much a PG stream, and yeah. Anyway, this is one of the switches that you need to hit in order to move things forward. These switches don't actually lower the platform with the blue key on, but they do get you access to the areas where you can hit those switches. So yeah, it's one of those kind of puzzles where you've got to hit switches to be able to hit the switches that you need to, you know, grab the key card. This is one of those here, and you can see the room fills up again with enemies, and this time there are pain elementals here. A solid shout here is just to get rid of everything as quickly as possible. Those lost souls can be particularly nasty. The other switch is on the other side over here. As mentioned, if you don't know where you're going, if you're coming into this for the first time, it can be pretty easy to miss the switches to lower the platform because they are kind of hidden out of the way, in particular this one. But you do get a plasma rifle for your troubles here, which I think does make up for it a tiny bit. You then also need to remember to head back to the teleporter to be able to run down. You can see the blue keycard has dropped quite a bit. All that cell ammo is finally coming useful for us. I think I heard a Caco demon floating around. I just want to make sure everything is gone. There it is. I just want to make sure everything's gone before we go for that blue key card, because once I start running towards it, I really don't want to have to stop for anything. Once you've cleared all the enemies, head into the teleporter there, and you can see we have some Caco demons on the other side of that wall there, but the rocket launcher has made quick work of them. So once you've got the blue keycard, you don't have to hang around this area. You can move on to the next part of the level. And very helpfully, that blue door there brings you back here. So this is the next phase of this level. There are some imps to the side here. They're pretty harmless until the room starts filling up in a bit. There's two rooms you can head into. There's this one here. You can't actually progress fully through this one. You need to raise the platform to get around. But it is advisable to come here and get rid of these guys, just because you really don't want to be dealing with these when you're trying to carefully walk over the platform. There's also a Baron of Hell there. We don't like the Baron of Hell, so we're going to get rid of you as quickly as possible. Once we get rid of this Hell Knight here, we can head in the other direction. So in order to bring up the key, which is what the whole point of this room is, we have to drop down into this sort of sewer area here. Once we drop down, a bunch of enemies will spawn in with us. We've got to kill all of these enemies in order to progress past this part of the level. You good use of the plasma rifle here, because why the heck not? We haven't killed all the enemies yet. There are some pinkies on the side here. You didn't die to the first double barrel shotgun shot. That was annoying. It's very interesting to me that Doom 64 doesn't make extensive use of pain floors. This would be a level where you would assume there'd be a lot of pain floors, but I don't think there's actually any on this level. I think they just avoid using them entirely, which is an interesting decision. When you hit that there, lowers this wall here, gives you a bunch of ammo. We will be needing that, so not going to complain about that at all. Once you hit the switch, the key actually disappears. It goes to the room back here. So as I mentioned earlier on, where the room with the two imps in it. Hopefully that teleporter brings you back here, but there's a bunch of enemies here now. Don't worry, this isn't the only onslaught we'll be facing at this exact moment. When you go to grab the key here, a bunch of Mancubus and I think a Baron of Hell show up in this room. Yeah, there's the Baron. I recommend just coming to the bottom of the room here and taking out the Mancubus at the bottom. It's the quieter side of the room and it does make things a lot easier to handle. With the red keycard, we can run towards the end of this level. We are going to do some quick mopping up just to make sure I've got all the enemies. Don't know why I went in there. We don't need to go down there. Just quickly check for health. So you can see in the center there, that's the exit, and you can see the red door over there. So it's not too difficult to find your way. We don't need to be going down there. There is, however, one final little trap here. Yes, there's a bunch of pain elementals at the level's exit. It is a very nasty trap because they do come out of nowhere and they can launch Lost Souls at you pretty aggressively. And in Doom 64, you do take quite a bit of damage even from just being near these things when they blow up. So it's a pretty nasty final trap, especially if you've not been looking after your ammo count. I just want this thing gone. Let's go. Excellent. And that, my friends, is Thy Glory, the penultimate level for Doom 64's Lost Levels. Is it a good penultimate level? I definitely think it's a fun penultimate level. If you don't mind kind of exploring and backtracking and doing puzzles, then this one's very much right up your street. There's a lot of intense battles in this one. There's a few moments where things get really hairy, and I think that this one really does put you on the edge of your seat, especially if you're pistol starting. It really expects you to be going around every corner, making sure that things are safe to wander into. A few of the traps are mean, a few of the traps are a bit nasty, but I think that the level gives you just enough weapons and ammo to make it fair. Do I think it's one of the best Doom 64 levels? I don't know if I'd say that, but I definitely think it's one of the stronger Lost levels that we've seen. What do you guys think of Thy Glory? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you excited for Final Judgment, the final level of Doom 64 that we'll be playing on this channel? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.